Hi everyone, hope you're all doing good. Right, okay, so this is the second round draw for the 22nd edition of the Tapology Lucky Bastard game. In the last round, we started with 31 of you, but that has been shaved all the way down to 13. So it's Baker's dozen now, just left of you now, and it's quite an elimination that first one, wasn't it? 31 going down to 13. That's most of you already out. Over half of you for sure. But anyway, I'll just run through those once this loads onto the correct page. I'm not sure if it's come up as on the right share yet, but here, yeah, I want it shared to that one. Yeah, that's right. Excel. Yeah, I think I'm on this page. Right. So those 13 that are left in it are Bellatrix, C. Collins 44, Damien Handel 420, Foghorn Sam, KK Kombu, Cushy Cake, Mason Zero, Mule Floyd, Rigno, Shat, the Dirty UFC Man, the MMA Historian, and Ex-Con Chris. So that's the 13 left in it. And for the second round, we have UFC Fight Night. Corey Sandhagen versus Umar Nurmagomedov. And that's a fight between two fighters battling for the nearer the top spots of the bantamweight division. It's got funny enough, we got another very high-ranking bantamweight card not too far away from it. Marlon Vera and Davison Figueiredo also on the card. But as for the main event, it's a tale of one of the veterans. Corey Sandhagen's been around for a number of years now. He's put together a recent little win streak, 3 fights in a row now, and he's now being challenged by Umar Nurmagomedov, who until a few years ago, not many people really knew his name. Let's be honest, and he's still undefeated, 17-0. He's Obviously, you can argue with undefeated, that also means untested, and I would say Corey Sandhagen is probably his toughest fight so far. But I can see him squeezing through again. I can see him winning a decision here, and mostly just due to the fact that he's proven time and again he can go the distance with some of the other ranked guys in the division. And I think he probably there's a good chance he's going to be the bantamweight champion at some point in a few years or so, I'd say. Obviously, we'll see how it plays out with the likes of O'Malley and Divalishvili first. They still got to fight for the belt, and of course, depends also how fast Figueiredo rises up as well. But in any case, he's certainly going to be in the title picture for a while to come, I reckon. So, decision win there for Umar Nurmagomedov. But then again, Sandhagen's not going to want to give up that little win streak he's got going either. But anyway, you're not here to listen to my predictions about that. You're here to see who you're getting drawn with. So, first to take on the wheel, we have Bellatrix. Screen share and paused. Right, there we go. So, first Bellatrix. Let's see who Bellatrix gets. And she gets one of the co-main eventers, Shara Magomedov. Shara Magomedov for Bellatrix there. Magomedov. I'm never sure how to spell that one. But I reckon he should win that one. He's up against I'm gonna absolutely butcher this name, but Mikhail Olesishuk, or something like that. I apologize for the mispronunciation there. But Again, he's an Shara Shara Magomedov is another undefeated fighter, 13-0 this time, mainly from a kickboxing background, as that seems to be his strength. There were a few flaws in his game last time, but he is, at the end of the day, a very high level kickboxer, and those flaws are mostly with his grappling. I'm expecting him to win by knockout, so I've got him second round knockout against Michael Oleksiak, who's also on a 2-fight losing streak as it stands. But having said that, those losses were by submissions rather than knockouts. So Oleksiak's weakness isn't Magomedov's strength, if that makes sense. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But a solid test for him, but one that I can see him getting another knockout win in. Okay, so we have C. Collins 44 next for the wheel. Let's see who he's going to be rooting for tomorrow night. And he gets Rolando Bedoya. Rolando Bedoya for C. Collins 44. And I would say he's definitely the underdog against Jai Herbert in their lightweight fights. Jai Herbert, he's former Cage Warriors star, but he's had a bit of a rough start so far in his UFC career. But having said that, I still think that he's going to get a decision win against Bedoya, particularly as Bedoya's last 2 losses have come by decision. So just you can't rely on MMA maths, but that does seem the most likely way that one's going to play out. So I think C. Collins 44 is going to need a little bit of luck there. Damien Handel 420 next to take on the wheel. And he gets Guram Kutateladze. I probably butchered that pronunciation as well, so apologies for that. Although he is quite an interesting, he was probably the most interesting record to look over when I was doing a little bit of research into this, because he's lost his last 2 fights, but he did have a decision win 3 years ago against Mateus Gamro, which that win has aged very well. So that shows the level he can compete at. Okay, sure, he's Gamro 3 years ago. He's not as good as Gamro now, but he is still Mateus Gamro. So that shows the kind of quality he can hang with. Having said that, he is up against a fighter I'm very excited for in the UFC, making his debut, Jordan Vucenic. He's former Cage Warriors featherweight champion. If that sounds familiar, well, Conor McGregor, Paddy the Baddy also had that title. Yeah, he's coming in with a lot of promise. 9-1 in Cage Warriors, and quite a lot. Quite a lot of his ones have come by submission as well. So he's an exciting fighter to watch as well. And I've got Vucenic for a 3rd round submission against Guram Kutateladze. But I think Damien Andrews for 420. He's going to need a little bit of luck with that one. Foghorn Sam next to take on the wheel. Let's see who Foghorn Sam will be paired with for tomorrow night. He gets his namesake, Sam Hughes. Sam Hughes for Foghorn Sam. Appropriate, isn't it? I can't even, despite Hughes being one of the most ridiculously common names. How can I not spell that right? H-U-G-H. Yeah, that'll do. I know who I mean. But anyway, she's up against Victoria Dudakova. Funny, I know the Nurmagomedov and Nurmagomedov and Magomedov get the attention on the poster as being undefeated fighters, and so they should. But so is Victoria Dudikova, 8-0, which definitely a stark contrast to Sam Hughes' 8-6 record. Although Dudikova is only the slight favourite for that one, and I can kind of see why, because I would say overall Sam Hughes has she's fought the better fighters. The record's a little bit patchy as a result of that, but is still very good experience you can draw from, and it's not like upsets don't happen in women's MMA in particular. So she's an underdog, yes, but she does have quite a reasonable chance. Having said that, I've still gone with Dudikova for a decision, but it's certainly not out of the question that Foghorn Sam can get through with Sam Hughes. KK Kombu next to face the Wheel of Doom. Let's see who he gets drawn with. And he gets Muhammad Yaha for KK Kombu. Yeah. And it's done that one right. But he's up against Fernandez there, and I've got Fernandez to win by a first round knockout. Former LFA fighter, and I would say this probably favours Yaha the longer it goes on, because he's proven he can go the distance a bit more, whereas Fernandez's fights have mostly finished inside the distance, which, yeah, it's testament to his power, but I'd like to see him really be pushed to his limits a bit more, whereas Yaha, if he can survive the early onslaught, wait for Fernandez to gas a little bit, he could have a good chance with that. But having said that, I still think it's slightly more likely Fernandez to end it early, so that's I've gone with the first round knockout there for Fernandez in that one. So again, well, besides all but the first one, really, I think you fall in the category if you're going to need a bit of luck this week. Cushy Cake. Let's see how you fare against the wheel. And Cushy Cake gets okay, the name hasn't popped up, but by the arrow, it looks like that said Riquez Dumas. Yeah, I'm going to start typing. I'm assuming the internet's just frozen, but yeah, I'm pretty sure that's going to pop up and say says Riquez Dumas for a. Looks like the arrow's quite clearly landed in that slot. But how do you spell it? It says Riquez Dumas. And won't have to wait long for that fight anyway, because his first fight on the card, along with Dennis Ulin. I don't know. That's I struggle with the Russian names a lot, but yeah, I think that is quite a good pick though. I can't really see any way Dennis wins this, if I'm being completely honest. I've got Cedricus Dumas by first round submission. But yeah, it's just I think honestly it's one of those. I think the method doesn't really matter. I think Dumas can end that however he wants, whenever he wants. I'm not going to go as far as to say that's the most one-sided fight on the card, because after all, we do have Tony Ferguson also on this card. But it is that should be an easy win, really. I'm not going to try and play up Dennis Tyre Lulin's chances just for the sake of it. But yeah, I think Cushy Cake will need slightly less luck. And he'll learn his fate early on, his first fight on the card. Mason Zero next to take on the wheel. Yes, there it is now. Cedricus Dumas. I was on the Excel sheet there while I was typing it in, so I don't know when that popped up, but it was just me internet running a bit slow as always. Mason Zero. He gets Elvis Brenner there for Mason Zero, Elvis Brenner. And yeah, that's interesting lightweight fight, that one against Yoel Alvarez. Yoel Alvarez is kind of, it's honestly, I feel like I don't really know as much about him because he's been active. His last fight was over a year ago, but or about a year ago or thereabouts. I'm not sure exactly the date, but up against Elvis Brenner, I do know that he's got dangerous knockout power to him. He's one of those. I can't remember which fight it was, but it was a nasty overhand that's knocks one of his opponents out, and so he's one of those that's got that ability. He can end a fight in an instant. I favour him for this one. And as a result of that, I've got him to win by second round knockout against Yoel Alvarez there. Mule Floyd next to take on the wheel. Let's see how he fares. Let's see if this be another good pick for him. Nope. I'm sorry. He gets Tony Ferguson, El Kahui, Tony Ferguson there for Mule Floyd. Now, I don't mean this as any disrespect to Tony Ferguson. He is a legend of the sport and without question one of my favourites when I was getting into the sport around sort of 2012 time when I was first discovering MMA. He was one of my favourites to watch. But it's long past time for him to retire, to be frank. And I say that out of genuine concern for his welfare because he's on a 7-fight losing streak and some of those losses have just been ugly. So I'm just hoping win, lose or draw against Michael Chiesa. He just sangs them up after because I don't want to see him taking any more unnecessary damage. Had a few issues outside of the cage. I won't go into that because it really isn't the time or place for that. But yeah, no, I hope he can just settle into some kind of coaching role. And actually, no, thinking about it, he'll probably kill half his students, won't he? That's yeah. Having said that, Chiesa is also on a bit of a downturn in his own career, but not by about as much. So is only on a 3-fight losing streak. So I've got him to win a decision there against Tony Ferguson. So yeah, hopefully it is only a decision because, yeah, I just hate to see Tony Ferguson get finished again. So Rigno next to take on the wheel. Let's see who Rigno is going to be drawn with. And he gets Lupita Godinez there for Rigno. Lupita Godinez. Who, to be honest, she doesn't get enough respect, really, especially in the build-up to this fight, because she's fighting Mackenzie Dern, who's amongst, I would say, the casuals in particular, the perverted casuals in particular. She seems to be the most popular fighter. And yes, I can see why I get all of that, but at the end of the day, Lupita Godinez is, I would say, the better fighter, the more skilled fighter, and as such, she's mostly been treated just as the opponent to Mackenzie Dern, from what I've seen. Now, it isn't to say Mackenzie Dern doesn't deserve her flowers. Of course she does, but she's on a 2-fight losing streak here, and honestly, I think she needs to win. To be honest, because I think if it wasn't for the name value, she'd be at risk of being cut, in my opinion. So maybe that'll bring out a bit of fire in her, but Godinez, she's going to be underrated. She's I think a lot of people just aren't taking her seriously. Yes, she lost her last fight, but she's had 4 wins in a row before that. So yeah, Lupita Godinez for a pretty one-sided decision, I would say. But who knows? Who knows about that? But I think Rigno's got a very sort of underrated but very good pick there. Shat next to take on the wheel. And Shat gets Victoria Dudakova. Victoria Dudakova there for Shat. And obviously the opponent of Sam Hughes, who Foghorn Sam had earlier. So, yeah, as I said, Dudakova, I've got her to win a decision, and she's the slight favourite with the bookies as well. Mostly due to her undefeated record, but not impossible to see Sam Hughes spring an upset, although I think having Dudakova as the slight favourite is probably about right. And that's why I'm inclined to agree with as well. So, yeah, all in all, I think Shat's going to get the better of that head-to-head. Now we've got down to our last three. We have, funny enough, we've got two names to begin with the at the start name. First of them is the Dirty UFC Man, which I hope is just a comical nickname rather than a literal description. But let's see who the Dirty UFC Man gets paired up with tomorrow night. Oh, that's right on the line, and that is Dennis T. Lulin, or however you pronounce that name. I've no idea. Dennis T I U L I U L I. There's a lot of I's, L's, and U's in that one. Right. Anyways, that's another head-to-head. So sees the opponent up against Cedrica Sturmas and Cushy Cake as well as a result. So the Dirty UFC Man and Cushy Cake going head-to-head. And yeah, I'm not going to lie, I'm expecting Damas to win that one very comfortably. So Dennis Tillman what's his record here? I got 11-9, 3-fight losing streak as well. But yeah, this does look like especially being the first fight on the card, it looks like the sort of thing though you want to get the crowd going with the first fight, and if you can get a spectacular finish in your first fight, really sets the crowd up for the rest of the event. And yeah, Cedrica Dumas getting an early submission win is my prediction for that one. There's a little trick promoters. I know local promoters. I've been to a few sort of regional MMA shows, and I don't think I've ever seen the first fight on the card not end in a finish, and usually a quick finish to that. So yeah, I can kind of see what the UFC is trying to do there. The MMA historian is next to take on the wheel. So he's the other one beginning with the. And he gets Joel Alvarez there for Joel Joel Alvarez for the MMA historian. And yeah, so that's as I said, that's he's the opponent of who else had Elvis Brenner. Who had Elvis Brenner earlier? Scroll up. Mason Zero had Elvis Brenner, so that's another head-to-head there. And yeah, I'm expecting Brenner to win by knockout, but I'll say it's more just a sort of flash KO power. So I think it's more likely that Mason Zero and Brenner's going to get the win here, but you never know. Never know at all, do you? So it's strange things have happened in MMA. Let's just see which of them come out on top. Maybe that year off is what Alvarez needed. Who knows? And finally, we have Ex-Con Chris to take on the Wheel of Doom. So let's see. Whose corner is Ex-Con Chris going to be in? And he gets one of the main eventers, Corey Sandhagen, for Ex-Con Chris. So yeah, Corey Sandhagen there for Ex-Con Chris. And yeah, I'm expecting Umar Nurmagomedov to get a win, but Sandhagen, he's been around the UFC a bit longer. I think that experience is going to serve him well, particularly seeing that he's built a 3-fight win streak against Rob Font, Marlon Vera, and Yadong Song. The last couple of losses he had before that were against TJ Dillashaw and Petty Yarn. So very good losses, very respectable losses. No shame in losing to those guys. Especially if it was TJ that was on the juice. I'm not sure what he was on at that time of their fight, but you never know with that guy. But yeah, anyway, Sandhagen, he's more than capable fighter in the bantamweight division, and certainly Umar Nurmagomedov's toughest challenge so far. So not impossible that ex-con Chris can get through with that one, but I do think it's a slight underdog. Okay, so that concludes the draw. Just save the Excel sheet. That's locked that in now. Right. And go back to the page just to run through those names one more time. We have Bellatrix with Shara Magomedov, C. Collins 44 with Rolando Bedoya, Damien Handel 420 with Guram Kuteladziyi, Falcon Sam with a much more pronounceable Sam Hughes, KK Kombu with Mohammed Yahya, Cushy Cake with Cedricus Dumas, Mason Zero with Elvis Brenner, Mule Floyd with Tony Ferguson, Rigno with Lupita Godinez, Shat with Victoria Dudakova, the Dirty UFC Man with Tennis T. Ulian, and the MMA Historian with Joel Alvarez, and finally ex-con Chris with Corey Sandhagen. So yeah, that completes the draw for the second round of the Tapology Lucky Bastard Game 22nd edition. All that leaves me to say is I think some of you are going to need a little bit more luck than others. I think quite a lot of you have probably been drawn with fighters who, if you could choose who you were going to pick, you probably wouldn't be picking these ones, let's be honest. Maybe that could be its own separate game. One way, every UFC card you have to pick the fighter that you think is most likely to get a win, but actually, no, that game would go on forever. So everyone would just pick the biggest favourite and just go with that all the time, wouldn't they? Yeah, no, that's... Yeah, I'm not going to waste my time with such a game. Somebody else wants to give that a try, why not? That's a free open idea for anyone else that wants to try that. But anyway, let's see how you get on with your randomly assigned picks anyway. So good luck with your Tapology picks. Good luck with this game. If you've got any bets on this card, good luck with that. And until next week, so long for now.